Many organisations have created something like this, which is a brochure that's a bit of a description about what the organisation is. It has who to contact, that kind of thing. And it's very, very useful to have. But with the technology and with what we can do with AI now, we can create something that's really, really specific and suits the needs of what we want. A lot of times we didn't have the knowledge background to create something specific, which is really critical in marketing. There are key parts of information or key information that needs to be put into a document to create what we want. And in this case, what we're going to create is a membership sign-up brochure, so encouraging people to become a member of the organisation. And this is the Maltese Community Centre and Maltese Museum in Morwell. If you haven't been there and you're passing through, check it out. It's absolutely amazing, an amazing museum with so much wonderful content in there, so many wonderful things and so much wonderful history. It's absolutely beautiful. But what we want to do is create a brochure that encourages people to sign up. So I'm just going to put this down and grab my phone. I've got my phone, and as you can see, it's just an iPhone 13. You don't need the latest technology. I'm just going to open the AI app. I'm using ChatGPT at the moment. Image 2.0 in Chat is the best image creation tool at the moment, but the prompts we're giving you here and what we're talking about is evergreen, so you can use it with any AI tool. So use the same principles here. The principles apply in perpetuity. Just use a different app as appropriate. But at the moment, ChatGPT Image 2.0 is the best imaging creating tool. So I'm just going to open up my photos, and I've already taken some photos of the brochure. So I've just load that in now. And then I'll say, do you understand what the aim and the information in this brochure is? I'll set that off to do that. The aim of doing that is to give the AI bot some background as to what your organisation is, and to also clarify whether it's fully understanding what the message is. Don't just trust what it puts out. Same with anything, even a person, don't just trust what they say is correct, always review it. So yes, and it's got here very clearly the brochure is doing several things at once, even though the design is fairly simple and community focused rather than polished marketing. And so it gives a bit of a history there about the organisation, what it is, what it does. All right, so what I want to do is, as I said, we want to create a brochure that's going to be aimed at drawing members to sign up. So what we want to do is create a brochure that encourages people to join as a member, so to be specifically focused for that. Can you outline what are the key criteria that are required for such a brochure? Don't create anything yet, just outline what the key criteria are. So I'll send that off, and part of the reason for doing that is we want to build into the background of the focus of the AI of what we want to do. We want to be clear about what it is, because good prompting will make all the difference. So a good instruction will lead to a different outcome than a poor instruction. So here, and it's telling you what it is, and you review that and say, okay, the existing brochure is primarily informational, historical, and descriptive. A membership brochure needs to be aspirational, emotional, identity-driven, and action-orientated. So basically says the goal changes from here is who we are to you should become part of this. And that's what we're going to get to with every document you put out. There are key principles behind what that document does, that enable it to do what it needs to do. And so now what we've done is, because we've clarified that within the bot, it now clearly knows what it needs to do. So what I'll now do is set off on a little research task. Can you research the internet and find more information about the Maltese Museum and the Maltese Community Centre that would be relevant for creating a membership sign-up form? My prompt hasn't quite worked properly yet, so let me just do that again. Stop. Let's start again. Okay. Can you research the internet and look for information about the Maltese Museum and the Maltese Community Centre that would be relevant to creating that would be relevant to creating a membership sign-up brochure. Okay, we got it that time. So it'll go off and do that. And this is now where it's really important, because what we're doing here, as you can see, it's now starting to search. So it's actually gone and found the Maltese Club's Facebook page, its website, and now it's looking for key facts that relate to what we want in this case, building up a brochure that encourages people to sign up. Right, so it's done that. So we can see here, so now it's given an outline of what the brochure is going to be, because we've already told it that. So it's going to have a heroes section, and it tells you what that is. And you can actually play with that before you actually go and create it. This is where we do this work beforehand, because it sets up the detail of what we want to deliver and the outcome of the brochure that we want to have happen. And we can correct these little things here. If you just go and say, create me a brochure, it's just going to revert to standard things, and it's not going to be as effective. It might look pretty, but it won't have the same impact. And there's subtle marketing things that actually make the difference between something that's really successful and something that's not. And a lot of, to be fair, or to be honest, a lot of marketing people actually aren't aware of this either. So this is really good. It's got the information here. So what we've got is we've got our hero message, why join, what members enjoy, why it matters. This is really cool because that creates that emotional connection, and the call to action. Drawing from this and the branding of the Maltese Museum and Community Centre, can you create a one-page sign-up brochure that has relevant information, but not too much information so that it looks too busy? We want a clean and focused brochure. Part of that prompt that I did there was when I was saying make it not too busy, is a lot of times AI will try to put in too much or try to put in a lot of information to cover all bases. What you want to do is keep it focused, and by telling it that, it will do that. So here it's given me, okay, what it should be. So it's got, and now it's laid it out to confirm. Because I've structured it this way, it hasn't just run off and done and created the image. It's actually confirming this is what I want. So, and you'd spend a bit of time going through that. I won't do that in this video, but you'd go through that and clarify the bits and pieces that you want. So here it's saying the hero section, top 35%, more than a museum, middle section, core membership pitch, why join, a small feature strip. So it's laying out what this is going to be. Now, a lot of times, and if you're like me, you really need to see it before you know exactly what that's going to be, but it does give you an indication of what it's about. And as you can see here, it's even pulled up. I didn't give it those details about the address and its opening hours. The contact details were on the previous brochure that I uploaded. So I've got that there. It's given me a typography as well. So again, it's gone and looked at what the brand is. It's given the color palette as well, because we've asked it to do that research. And there we've got here what not to do. So avoid long history blocks, dense paragraphs, too many photos, clip art, excessive committee information, over explaining the museum, and too much text about migration history. So it's saying that it's giving itself rules as to what to create. So, okay. Can you create this brochure? I'll send that off. So it'll take all that information in and now create the image that we, well, hopefully, if it comes out, will be what we want, is a nice, clean, focused brochure that its aim and what it's doing is encouraging people to want to join as a member. And that's very different from another brochure that might be about just sharing information about the museum or the community centre. It's different from having a poster that's about an event that you might have. They all have different criteria, and that's why we go through those steps to start with, to set that up, to get clear about what it is, the message that we're putting across. And that's the difference when you're using AI. It doesn't matter which app that you use, it's the prompt that you put in, the background information that you give it to create that focus, which is really critical to actually creating an effective brochure. So as you can see, this has come up. It's very nice and clean. So we've got the Maltese Community Centre at the top, more than a museum, a community place, a culture, a place of belonging. And this is all from the background that we had there. And you can see there's key information there, which is really nice. Why join us, belong, celebrate, preserve, which is really nice. And then we've got a little banner down the bottom here. And so what we can do now, when we look at that, we go, okay, that's really good. But what I'd really like, which is not on there, because we didn't tell it to put it on there, is the website. So what I'm going to do now is, can you add into the bottom section the website URL address? And now what I've done there, I actually haven't told it what the URL address is. And what it should do is, because it went and did the research, it actually should go and pull that URL address and add that in. I'm not going to be able to check that because I haven't double checked myself, but it will do that. If it doesn't, you can just add the URL yourself in the text and then it'll add it in. And the purpose of what I'm showing you here is, once you get the brochure, you can select certain things that you want to change, adjust, and a key element that you want to do there is say to the bot, when you're doing that, giving the prompt, to keep everything else the same. Generally it will, but sometimes it'll be a little bit creative and change other things within the brochure. All right, our image is going to load shortly. There it is. So now if we look at our image here, everything else, if we go back, I just want to double check because I didn't tell it to keep everything the same, but it looks, just on the face of it, it has pretty much kept everything else the same. But if we look closer now, it's gone and added the web address down the bottom, the URL. And I'm pretty sure that's actually right. The Maltese Community Centre is the correct address. So this is where it's really important when you're setting up and doing these things. Get the foundation right, as I did. Step it through. What do you want to achieve? What are the key things of the outcomes that you need to have from the document that you're creating? If you set that all up at the beginning of that, rather than just say create a brochure, it will then be able to go through, and like it just did, because I asked it to research the website and the Facebook page, or search the internet, which went to the web page and the Facebook page, it then knew already that information there. So that's a very simple way for you to create a brochure for your organisation. And another thing to remember when you're creating things for your organisation, if you ever feel that you're too small to be effective, you've never been alone in the dark with a mosquito.